Are we there yet? It's a question that plagues many families' road trips. Yet, as any parent knows, the child who is asking this question doesn't necessarily know where there is, only whether or not the group has arrived at or neared this place. But in reality, where is there? How do we define it? How do we conceptualize it? How do we know when we get there? Personally, I didn't. When I graduated from preschool, they had all the students say what they wanted to be when they grew up. Most students said police officers or firefighters or professional athletes. Me, I said I want to be just like my dad, an accountant. Fast forward to when I went off to college, and my dad gave me the sage advice, do whatever you want, just don't become an accountant. Needless to say, I found my there by studying anthropology and archaeology. In anthropology, we focus on understanding different identities, ideologies, and worldviews. Archaeology provides our window into the past. We're interested in the same ideas, but also connecting those ideas to space and place. What does it mean to be from somewhere? Importantly, those spaces and places that we examine are dynamic in nature. They're not truly static. We want to look at landscapes from multiple perspectives. So we want to look at there as a place, there as a moment, there as an event, and there as a memory. And maybe most importantly of all, we want to understand there as a cultural construction. It's a place where we assign meanings and values to space. I study the American Revolution. I'd like everyone to take a moment, close your eyes, and visualize the American Revolution. Perhaps you see Paul Revere galloping from Boston to warn of the attack at Lexington and Concord. Perhaps you see George Washington sitting on his white horse, leading his men to Valley Forge. Or perhaps you even see the Continental Congress debating the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia. Regardless of what you visualized, you were not there. Yet we assign meaning to those historical events. We assign meaning to our national identity. Now, I can almost guarantee you that when asked to visualize the American Revolution, not one of you pictured the Paoli battlefield located in Pennsylvania. Why not? What happened there? Is it important? Like you, I did not know. When my graduate school advisor came up to me and said, Matt, you really got to study the Paoli battlefield. It's great. I said, where? I didn't know. Prior to the American Revolution reaching southeastern Pennsylvania, the region was full of craftsmen, merchants, and farmers. One of them was Ezekiel Bowen, a Welsh farmer who purchased a plot of land in what is today's Malvern Borough, about 30 miles west of Philadelphia. Bowen was sympathetic to the cause of independence, but he never truly enlisted in the army. In the middle of September 1777, General Anthony Wayne, a Pennsylvanian, was on a secret mission to attack the rear of the British line. Bogged down by rain, tired, wet, he arrived at Bowen's farm, just a mile away from the British, and set up camp. Although Wayne's camp, he believed, was secret, the British had a large spy network throughout the region. And so they eventually learned of his location. Rather than allowing Wayne to attack, the British mounted their own nighttime raid. Around midnight, the British stormed through the American camp, putting the men to bayonet and setting the camp ablaze. In less than an hour, 53 patriots lay dead. Those who survived used "Remember Paoli" as a battle cry throughout the rest and the remainder of the American Revolution. The next morning, it was up to the local community to come together and inter those fallen soldiers. So, in this short historical moment, Bowen's property transformed from a farm to an encampment to a battlefield and then into a mass burial. In 1817, 40 years after the battle, the community again came together to raise funds for a marble obelisk to commemorate the landscape. It rose as the second oldest battlefield memorial in the United States. 100 years later, in 1877, between 8,000 and 10,000 people came from across the country to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the battle. Today, the Paoli battlefield is home to one of the oldest continually running Memorial Day parades in the country. So where is there? This brief history of the Paoli battlefield illuminates the multiple layers associated with the landscape. First, there's the farm field, where we can understand a 18th century farmer trying to live the American dream. Then there's the encampment, where we can interpret the day-to-day lives of the soldiers on a march. Then there's the battlefield, where we can try to interpret the tactics of 18th century warfare. And then finally, there's the memorial grounds, that for over 240 years, people have been returning to this place, and with them bringing new meaning and new memories. So which one is it? Is it one of those landscapes, or is it all of them? The reality is it's our task to tease apart those complexities. In archaeology, we use the material culture to help us find meaning in the past landscapes. For example, at Paoli, we identified impacted musket balls. Musket balls, as you may know, are small lead balls, and lead as a soft metal, when fired at a high velocity and it impacts something, it tends to deform. So as you can see in this one, we have a flat side. The musket balls are symbolic of the violence of the evening. They represent death and destruction. And importantly, they were found there at the Paoli battlefield. And in particular, they were found on the west end of the battlefield, where the fighting was the most intense. Not the north, not the east, not the south, but on the west end, there. Similarly, we can look at these Federal Marine Corps buttons that date between 1837 and 1865. And you might be asking yourself, what do 19th century uniform buttons have to do with an 18th century battle? And the reality is they are there because of the battle. That over the course of 240 years, the Paoli battlefield became a mecca for men and women of all service branches to pay the respect to the sacrifices made during the American Revolution. They were found there because of the battle. Each decade connects to the one before it and the one before it. So the Paoli battlefield illustrates the dynamic nature of landscape. It embodies multiple meanings at different historical moments. Throughout time, people gather at landscape sites, and with them, they bring their own identities, their own ideologies, and their own worldviews. As the community partakes in commemoration practices, they're adding another layer to that landscape. So the next time you're in a car and you have a kid in the back seat asking, "Are we there yet?" Take a minute and pause. Think about there. Where are you going? Why is it important that you go there? And keep in mind that you're going to be adding another layer to this important landscape. Thank you very much.